second part of our series, our little SubD modeling exercise that will lead us to great things, great and interesting. If you have no idea what we're going to be doing, I suggest watching video number 1, where I absolutely don't explain anything at all. So instead, you should watch Custom Marching Cube series on my channel, and just keep in mind that we are going to be revisiting that and remaking. That should give you an idea. So for those custom marching cubes, we need 14 different types of elements that we will use in an aggregate, right? So in video number 1, we did this little bad boy right here, which looks kind of nice, kind of neat. You know, a little spaceshipy, a little bit Geiger-esque. It's nice. And while you were doing your own stuff, I was modeling these bad boys out and not uploading videos about them because I don't want to spam. So instead, we're just going to have element type 5 uploaded and perhaps something here, element type 14, uploaded as a video. Everything else is just going to be me showing you what I've done. So element type 2 looks like this, and it's basically a handle type of a situation, a handle and a pokey hole type of situation. I absolutely have no aim with these elements. It's more like an aesthetic approach. Every time when I'm doing these, I start thinking about, what could be the scale of this object and how can it be read? And this is what I came up with. I guess I should show you the starting geometry as well. So the starting geometry, like the guide geometry that I should be using for these voxels, is shown in red and off the back faces so that you can see better. And if I turn off the SubD geometry, you can see that first we have a triangle, then we have a square, and then we have like a little bit more funky shapes starting to appear, right? So the second one was just a square at an angle, or a rectangle, I guess, at an angle. And this is what I came up with. Nothing spectacular, but we will always have the chance to come back in and give it a little bit more detail later on. And unsubdivided version looks like. There we go. Okay, next up we have a little bit more of an interesting challenge. This was like an angle shape. Try and bam. Angle shaped like so. And we came up with same angle shape, only that it's duplicated, and it also has a pokey hole. Something about pokey holes, I don't know. I just like them, I guess. So I keep adding them. Please don't quote me on that. I keep adding them to the models. And the last one is this one that I have just finished, and before I hit the record button for this video, and it's element type 4. So you can see that in the middle we have the guide geometry running, and then I did a little bit of a handle type of a thing, and then I gave it a few core slabs here and there. You could even imagine like a person standing here overlooking the, I don't know, the cosmos, I guess. So we have element type 4, which was quite a challenge to do as well. You can see from quite an intense amount of edges that try to keep the form of the shape going. There we go. Okay. So element type 5. This one is going to be a pretty straightforward one, but I guess that is why it's going to be difficult. Because element type 5 is just a rectangle or square. That's, it's easier to think about possibilities of a complexity within these kind of shapes, not within a square. So this is going to be something a little bit different. Okay, let's jump to SubD mode. Let's just create a single SubD face. So I'll go to Solid Tools. No, I will not. I will go to SubD Tools and I'll choose a single SubD face and just click, 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 and then hit enter, right? So now we have our, no we don't, because every time when I start recording, I start messing up. Now we have our SubD face, and as you can see, when I click the tab button, it kind of rounds itself off into a disk. That's fine for now. I don't really need the guide anymore, so I'm just going to hide all of the guides and just work with this one. So to give it thickness, I'm thinking maybe we could move this up by 0.5 and then holding down the Alt key, move it down by, or copy it down by -1, just to give it a little bit of a space here. And I really want to divide this up, subdivide this up, but I'm not sure if we can manage it. So let me grab both of these perimeters and just type in subdivide. Oh yeah, sorry, not subdivide. First I need to log them in. If now I just select these shapes and I type in subdivide, you can see that it starts rounding off my shapes, and I don't want that. Instead, I'm going to grab these perimeters by using Ctrl Shift and double clicking on one of the edges. It recognizes the whole perimeter. And I will type in crease, which will, yeah, you guessed it, it's gonna crease these perimeters and it's not gonna let them round off. And as you can see, it's rounding off just as it was before, which sucks, which means this doesn't work. Is there a way on how I can make this work? Yeah, there is. Okay, let's delete this one, like this one, subdivide, enter, let this round off, that's fine. And I will just grab the goddamn points here and just move them to the respected positions. Like that. You know, if you can't make it work, or if you can't imagine some sort of an automated solution in, like, I don't know, always think about what's the fastest way to do it. If it's manual, you know, if manual work is faster than trying to automate it, just do it manually. Who gives a shit, right? -1, there we go. Double click on the perimeters, bridge between the perimeters, one segment. Okay, hit tab, we have a pillow. We have successfully made a pillow. Sharpen up the pillow. As per usual, I will be hitting it with an inset. So we want to protect the border here and the border below, so to just get a bit of a more defined, yeah, the word is defined, more defined rectangle. So if I inset this, enter to continue, 0.1 is great. I get the second edge around the perimeter, and thus it gets protected, right? So now, at least in the section view, it's a little bit sharper. The problem is that in the plan view, this is still rounding off like crazy, so I'm thinking maybe we can do something like this, like select the cross, I guess, edges and just bevel them a little bit. That's not a little bit, 0.1 would be a little bit, something like that. Hit tab, now we can see that the edges are holding, right? 2 edges, always better than 1. Okay, so we have our base and it looks fine, looks okay, but we want to make something a little bit more, you know, fancy or unusual about it, and we need some sort of an idea, some sort of a concept. I hate working without a concept, So I'm thinking city, right? City and the building block of a city within the city with some repetitive patterns, some repetitive elements. So I'm thinking maybe we can get some sort of directionality going on in this element if we just have a repetitive pattern going in one direction, so it's not like a grid, but it's just going in one direction. I'm going to take this whole edge loop and I'm just going to bevel it. Bevel it, I guess to the midpoint right here. Perfect. I'm gonna take it again. I'm gonna bevel it again to the midpoint like so. Take these 4 again, bevel them again. You can see what I'm doing, right? Here, I'm just basically creating a crap ton of loops. That's about it. Okay, I think that's good enough for the resolution. And now we need to start thinking about the possible ways of how we can what kind of aesthetic we can get from here. So I'm thinking every other element here is going to be removed, right? So that gets removed. Same thing in the bottom portion of things, of course. Clicking is hard. There we go. So at least this seems to be symmetrical. And now we can bridge between these. And just let's see how it looks like. It looks like that. I think that's fine. We can definitely work with that. Maybe. Or maybe we should... Okay, sorry about that. I will be doing one more thing. I will be creating holes, but I wanted the holes to be protected. So the idea is that I will be selecting the surfaces in the top and in the bottom. Control Shift, by the way, if you don't know how to select them. I will inset them by the same magical number of 0.1, and then I will delete them. So now my holes are going to be protected, which means that if I bridge them and hit Tab, you can see how much sharper this thing gets, right? And that's what we want. We want the holes to be a little bit sharper. Bridge. Okay, so this is gonna take a while, but it's gonna be nice by the end of it. You can see that now I'm not creating any bumps. That's because first I want to make a bunch of pokey holes, right? Pokey holes. Like the word itself, pokey hole, I have an anecdote about it. If you're familiar with famous architects, there's one guy whose name is Peter Cook. Archigram, yeah, St. Peter Cook. So he came in to give a lecture at my university where I teach, and he gave a lecture to the course for which I teach, right? So we hung out and talked a bit, and by the way, super energetic guy for his age, like really crazy. And he kept showing this picture of a table that he did for I'm just inserting these. He kept showing this picture of a table that he did for RMIT. And god damn, that picture was so cool. The table that had little small holes in it. And he kept calling them pokey holes, right? And the only reason for those holes existing, I shouldn't delete all of them. The only reason for all of the holes existing was that he wanted students in RMIT, that's in Australia, to just fiddle with something as they're talking, right? So there's a hole in the table just for the purpose of putting a finger in it. I find that charming. I find that super charming and quite nice, frankly. So from there on out, I started saying pokehole in my projects as well. I don't know. I think that's nice. We're back. Sorry about that. We had to pick up a table, apparently. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes, talking about Peter Cook and creating pokeholes. So this seems to be working fine. We have a little bit of detailing going on there. It's rounding off. This rounding off right here, honestly, not a big fan of it. But I think if I were to bevel it, not bevel, inset. Come on, dude. Inset 0.1. It's not gonna work. Why? Yeah, it's just being a dick to me. That's fine. We can figure it out, I promise. If I delete both of these, select this parameter, bridge, and then give it 3 segments, hit OK. Yeah, this gets sharper. See? We just need to negotiate. That's a little bit weird, but other than that, this works. Okay, so now we just need to repeat this a bunch of times. That's fine, I'm gonna be fast at it. Delete and just bridge. Do you have any anecdotes while you're waiting for me to do the boring part? Do I have any more anecdotes that I can? No, not really. Fortunately, no. I wonder how Peter Cook is doing these days. Wonder if he's still making architecture. Bridge. Too many. Always keep in mind like the amount of segments, right? You never want to have too many segments. And in this case, like for this particular tutorial set, right? I want these elements to have the least amount of polygons possible because I want to have the maximum amount of elements possible with my computer, right? So we are just going to be limited by amount of polygons. I really hope that we'll manage to grow a full-on a full-on city just with one click by the end of all of these tedious series. So it's gonna be all worth it. But for now, it's just a bunch of deleting and bridging. So, by the way, like this part, right, where I'm oh, can we make these guys just stick out? Oh. Nah, I want them to be connected. So this part where I'm creating 2 more edges, this part is easy to do with other tools. For instance, insert edge. It's just that bridge is fastest for me, right? So just bridge there, double click, enter, Control Shift, double click, enter. Control Shift, double click, Control Shift, double click, enter. Right, so it's I think this is the fastest way to do this kind of a task. So we have this solved. This is still a problem. We need to solve this one. But other than that, this whole portion I will say that it's fine as it is right now. Okay, so this part right here. I think we can get away by doing the same bridging procedure as what we've done with our other side. Delete. What about these? These are the culprits why we are redoing it. So the more edges you have in between the gap, the less rounded it's gonna be and more shape it's gonna hold, right? So that's why we're bridging. So should be pretty cool. Should be. Hopefully. Okay. Okay. Almost. Almost. If you're following this all the way through, you need a medal. Good job. Okay. So right now we have this kind of a form. It's quite like it doesn't look like much right now, but I think it's with some map, let's say, with some proper shading. This is gonna be a pretty complex shading system. I think that's gonna look nice. So now we want to create some bumps, I guess. Time to do some bumps. Or maybe we don't do bumps and instead we see what would happen if we bridge. This is stupid. No, let's not do that. Let's create some bumps. Hell yeah. So I'm thinking, do I want a raised perimeter? Maybe I want a raised perimeter here and then here. And then there's a little bit of a gap. Okay. So what if these two are just raised just a little bit? Oh, that is definitely not a little bit. Gumball smooth dragging. Like that. Yeah, something like this. And then the rest would need to be raised even further. Okay, so I'm being stupid. We should select everything that we're going to be using. I wonder if this is gonna work. Yeah. You select the first polygon, select the last polygon, and double click anywhere in between, and it's gonna give you all of the polygons. Amazing. Okay, so we have this. And I really want to isolate them again. Okay, let's do it. Inset. Inset this bad boy, mode group, 0.1 again, perfect. So we have like 2 layers of isolation. I think this is gonna be really beneficial. Oh, Gumball, why are you so small? Okay, so we have that. And then I just unselect, oh no, not that much, not that much. As you can see, my topology is starting to mess up. At least the alignment of my topology is starting to mess up. And now I can't select all of these. Rhino, why do you insist on hurting me? Did I treat you wrong? Was I bad with you? Come on, I'm not pirating the program. I always update it properly. I even didn't disable autosave. So why do you insist on making me select all of these faces. Okay, we extrude it up again, that. And now we need to probably unselect these. And I'll do one more extrusion. And then we're gonna be done with it, kinda. Or maybe no, no, we're gonna be done with it once this is finished. There, and one last extrusion. Bam. Okay. So this is how it looks like so far. And that looks nice. I think that looks neat. Right? Right? Tell me that it looks. Please, I need to hear it. What if these portions are isolated? So this is becoming an inset type of a deal. And extrude it inwards. That. You end up with something like this. I think that looks nice. We will need to work on them a little bit more, but I think that's we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. And maybe this can be a through hole, right? So we just delete these like that, and we delete these. That's a problem, but maybe since I was a good boy and I inserted all of the geometries properly, maybe this is gonna work out. We bridge and we pray. Oh, that's a lot of edges, but maybe we need them. Let's try with one. Bridge, segments, only one. It's kind of soft, but kind of nice. But we do get that script, like, different between these two, right? Do we want it? Not sure. We'll figure it out later. For now, let's not think. Let's just do. Doing is fun. So these kind of exercises for SubD modeling, you could that's a wrong word, not extrapolate, but you could use the same approach as what I'm showing here to kind of getting used to a tool with any kind of a modeling technique or, you know, working technique. I just, for the life of me, I can't get both perimeters here. This one, this one. No, not this one. Go away. You. There we go. Bridge. Swear to God. Okay. You. Yes. Yes. You. And you. Bridge. Okay, there we go. So even if you want to learn ceramics, right? Pottery making. As long as you just do a lot of random stuff over and over and over again, I think you'll make it. I think you will end up eventually doing really complex things really easily. That's just because when you do random things, you kind of, let's say, let loose, right? And you investigate. You investigate the different ways of how you can do it. So later, when you have like a actual task at hand that needs to be done, you can do it, right? You can do it. You can properly do it, and you know at least 10 different ways of how you can do it. So I just suggest instead of, and I guess this is like for every motivational speaker says this, but instead of like wasting time on Facebook or any social media, I would just suggest having, a 3D modeling software open and just doing some random stuff. Doesn't need to be fancy, doesn't need to be anything really. Just random thing. Right? You'll be surprised how fun it gets. So speaking of fun, this rounding off thingy right here, I hate it. So the thing is that I do have like, while here this is fine, let's see if there are other parts where I don't want this to happen. Ooh, it's a very, very intense point right there, but it's holding. So that's fine. So it's only these edges that I don't really like, where things are heading, right? So what if we just YOLO it? This is not holding up at all. So we need to, I'll just try insetting this. You will see how much it's gonna break, but I think it's gonna eventually work out. So we're just selecting all of these. Inset. Yeah, we have that. And you can see the lip that is forming, right? That lip in the bottom is fine, but in the top, it's completely getting destroyed, right? Yeah, that's a doozy. That is Rhino shitting the bed. So I think as long as we kinda work within the same inset logic, like that, this is gonna work. This is gonna work out, right? So all we need to do is just take these like columns of things and just inset them, right? That should work, like that. How does the curvature look? That looks fine, and the top also looks fine. Except that this bad boy right here, it doesn't care what we do. So since it doesn't care, I will hit it with a bevel. 0.05. Little bit of a bevel. Yeah, and immediately you can see that it breaks, right? The bevel is way more aggressive than any inset. Can we bevel it here? We probably can't, huh? Yeah, that's gonna completely destroy the edge flow here, right? So we're kind of stuck with a cylindrical shape. Maybe that's fine. Yeah, let's not make this into something that it doesn't need to be, right? This can still stay quite simple. Because fixing that would be just way too much. So now I'm just gonna do it for all of these, and I think, are we done? That looks fine. That looks fine. Emap it. Let's look at it with an emap. I really don't like this arches. Like, it looks nice, yes, that is true, but I really prefer using fluorescent tube. You really see, you know, what the hell is going on and how things are bending. So I think Yeah, this looks fine. This looks a-okay. So we have this going, right? And for the bottom, that's the last thing that I'm gonna do. I'm just selecting these polygons right here. I'm just going to give it a little bit of an oomph, you know, a little bit of a razzle dazzle, a little bit of that. Just a tiny bit. That, extrude that, just a little bit. That. You can see those blades kind of sticking out. Then I'm just gonna take these edges here, or maybe let's do the middle portion. Let's do these guys right here. These guys deserve it. Look at them just holding on to their life. Don't worry, I will take good care of you. I'll just take you and just move you down like that. Even more like that. That's perfect. And probably let's test it on this one. You're gonna be the sacrificial one. If we inset this one, it holds shape much better, right? But it has that bump that I don't really, or actually, yeah, I don't mind it. I don't mind the bump. And then we take this and we bevel this. 0.1. Yeah, now this bad boy is sharp. Now this one is sharp. And it's still, maybe it can go backwards, huh? Before we inset it, what if we move it back by a bit? Like that. And then we inset 0.1. And then we bevel 0.05. Bevel 0.05. What do you think? I think this looks better than the other ones. Holds form much better. Okay, so we undo it. I know it's a little bit weird, but we need all of them, right? And we just move them back as it was, something like that, I guess. Get all of the surfaces in here. And surface. Just going to town. I guess oh god damn it. I wish there was like a hotkey for last selection. I guess you can program it, right? In Rhino. But I wish there was like a preset default last selection type of a key when you accidentally unselect things. That would make my life much easier. But as it is right now, nope. I have to select everything again and again and again and again. Okay, bevel those. 0.05. Tab. This is what we end up with. I think that looks sweet. I think that looks pretty damn cool. I don't know. You can be the judge of it. But I do think that looks pretty cool. Okay, so I am done with this. Don't go away just yet. I am going to show you why we're doing this and what kind of forms you can expect to see from here, from these elements, right? So for that I need guides, and let's just see. So I'm just going to borrow element number 5, and how do we do this? Sorry for blabbing, but I just want to figure out the fastest way to show you this. So I'm gonna grab a box and the element type 5 and just move it here. That should be good enough. And then I'll do a silhouette for the box and group the output. So I get this framework, right? So this is a voxel, and this guy lives in the voxel, right? So for instance, element type 2, copy, can attach to element type 5 like so, right? It's pretty straightforward. These guys just attach to each other, right? And of course, element type 2 can be rotated and attached to the other side, like so. And then these both guys can be rotated and attached like so, and everything can be mirrored, right? But before we do that, element type 1 will come into play and will fill in the gaps here, and then we mirror them, or not mirror, like just rotating would be enough. Wait, I messed up. Just rotating would be enough. I'm going to mirror it anyway. It's just faster for me to do it. And then we can mirror it. Just need to make sure that, oops, mirror 3 points. 1, nearest. There we go, 2, and then 3 is just going to be anywhere. So we end up with a form like this. Let me isolate it and disable the guide. Right? So these things connect pretty well together, right? And this one especially, this one can just rotate around, you know, and can create any kind of a pattern. But this is basically what we get. And let me turn on the Arctic view so that you can see better. And the nice part about it is that it does create an interior space, right? And that interior space can be pretty damn cool and can be evaluated. So this is our aim. This is what we are going to be doing. Except that right here we have 18 elements. My plan is to reach 1 million, right? I hope to reach, well, maybe not 1 million, but at least 200,000. Right? That's the idea. And by the end of this tutorial series, you will see it. You will see it happen. The whole damn city. But before we do that, there is still a bunch of blocks ahead of us that need to be made. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is how much we have left. I will do one more video such as this with element type 14. And once we have finished up the whole damn library, then we will move on to creating a pretty intense grasshopper script. So that's gonna be fun. Yeah. Anyway, hope you've learned something, or at least hope you chilled out together with me as I was creating this monstrosity right here. And I hope to see you in the next video, or rather, I hope that you will hear me, because you definitely will not see me. As I'm modeling, I don't like the camera to be turned on. Enough blabbing. Thanks for watching.